Hi and welcome. It's Carol from Crinkled Path Journals, and this is hashtag Cooking Up a Journal collaboration hosted by Jovi at Creating with Jovi and my sweet friend Sierra as well at Cooley Craft Corner. And I love that so many of the collaborative artists have been making cookbooks for their loved ones. I'm not making a cookbook, but I am using a cookbook cover to make a perpetual calendar memory keeping journal by request of one of my daughters. Each day of the year will have a space on a card, and each year, if something particularly memorable happens on a day, she can flip to that day's date, write the year and the memory, and then she can continue to add to this over the years and go back and see what days are most memorable for her. I'm using the cookbook cover so it can sit on her counter or cookbook shelf where it's readily accessible to add things quickly and easily. And hopefully you can stick around and watch how I made it. First, let's go over the supplies that I'm using to make this. I have a vintage cookbook cover, and it is a 2.5-inch spine that has been gutted. I love the pages on the inside of the cover here. I have my scoreboard. I have some lightweight cardstock that I'm just using for some dividers. I have some 5x8 index cards. These are also vintage. I have some lace and a doily and a little bit of some seam binding. I have score tape and some glue. I also have my ruler and my paper cutter, which I've already been using. And most importantly, I have some of Jovi's digitals. And I hope you've been watching the other collaborators. I actually blew up these little recipe cards into 2 on a page. I think they printed like this. So that's what I could fit, the max I could fit on a single sheet of presentation paper. I like Epson brand. It prints the crispest to me, and I also printed some regular size. I also printed her tags, which I absolutely love. I will definitely want to use this again in my strawberry journals. They're just so cute. Oh, and I did some fussy cutting of a couple things. I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to use, where I'm going to use these yet, but I have an idea for the tags. And then I printed a full sheet of the red gingham, and this is what I'm going to use for my sides of my folder, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. These papers are a lightweight cardstock. I thought the color was very complimentary, even though it didn't exactly match the cards, but I'm going to use this as the divider. It's pretty lightweight cardstock, and so what I did is I folded it over, and then I cut it just shorter than the inside of the book. So I think I cut it at 5 inches. And then I took my score tape or double-sided tape, and I just glued it shut to kind of give it a little extra oomph to hold up. Got my pokey tool to get the paper off. My pretty Angela pokey tool. I really highly recommend that you go to Jovi's channel and you watch her playlist of all the other collaborators, because you will see how this ephemera was used and her digitals. And then she has freebies also on her Facebook group, so you'll want to join there. And then I've also included the information for Sierra at Cooley Craft Corner, because she sells on the Makers Market, and she has cookbooks, vintage cookbooks, and journals for sale on the Makers Market right now. And all the links for all of our lovely collaborators are in the description box below, including the links for Jovi's Facebook group, her Etsy link for the digitals, and Sierra's link for Makers Market. Okay, so to make our gussets on the side, because this is going to be like a file folder, and I want to make sure I keep the front on the front, and it's going to sit like this. I cut the piece the same height as the inside paper here, and then I took the width of the spine, I doubled it, and then I added 2 inches for anchors on either side. And then what ended up happening is I want 6 gussets. Doubling the spine was 5 inches. I went ahead and made it 6 inches so that I could get one more gusset in there. I don't think it will drastically make it too flimsy, so I'm hoping that works out. So here's what I did for the gussets. I did my 1-inch anchor point. Now let me think. I will not be folding this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and score it just to mark it. And then I want valleys every inch. So at 2 inches, at 3 inches, at 4, at 5, at 6, and at 7. Okay, and then I want hills, or the peaks of my gussets, to be on the 1/2 inch marks. So 1.5. And I know I see people score and they don't necessarily fold the direction of their score, but in this case, I want to go ahead and use the advantage of those hills and valleys to get it going the right direction. And I am going to do the 7.5, so then I didn't quite end up with 1 inch on either side. I must have cut it down a little too much, but I think 3/4 of an inch is still going to be enough for me to have that as an anchor point. Then we're going to fold it. This first one is just where it's going to get glued. And then I have to start with my hills and valleys. So I want the peak to come out, and I'm going to have this side showing. So then we're just going to do a fan fold using our score marks. And please forgive my hands, my arms. We've been packing and moving, and it has been very, very rough on my hands. And so it is what it is. I'm not going to let it stop me. I would love to hear in the comments, if you have been watching the collaboration, I'd love to hear what some of your favorite things you've seen have been. I love to hear from you in the comments. And thank you so much for all of you who watched my craft room tour video. That was the last big video I got up before we started this move. This is pretty heavy cardstock. It's taking a bit to get it there. Now, let's make sure I have 6 gussets. Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay! Okay, I'm going to make another one of those. Now I have 2, one for each side of my book. And we're going to go ahead and glue those in. at least on one side. So I don't want to glue into this first gusset. I just want to glue that anchor point. And I think I'm going to use the score tape and a little bit of my glue. Now this double-sided tape is permanent after you apply pressure and it sits for a little period of time. So I think it will hold up over time. My fingernails are usually sufficient to get this paper off, but right now my hands are just hurting, so I'm just going to use the pokey tool. I'm grateful for it. Lovely handmade item from my friend, Angela the Traveling Crafter. I have sadly not been at the live sales the last 2 weeks because of our move. I'm going to hold off putting the score tape on the other side for a minute because I think we're going to do our folio pieces first. Oh, okay, well, I was going to put glue in there, but I don't think I need to. It's just grabbing right away. Okay, and then let's see, which side do I have up? I have the white edge up. So I'm going to do the white edge up on this side. Oh yeah, I want the white side up. I gotta do it on this side. Okay. There's bound to be mistakes. My hands aren't the only thing suffering from moving. My brain is a little tired too. So if you want to do this with a smaller or bigger book, or wider or narrower spine, I should say, you can adjust accordingly by either doubling the width and then adding the anchor points, and then if you want to fudge a little more or a little less, you can. You can't really go 3 times the width because then it gets very floppy. Ask me how I know. I want this peak to be outside of the book, just like an accordion folder, like that. Okay, we got that one on. Hopefully I don't stick this one to anything in the meantime. Now we're going to get my folded taped papers and we're going to put them behind each gusset. So I cut these actually a little wider than that inner paper, so all the way to the edge of the cover, so that it would be able to be inside the gussets. So I'm going to run this, whoops, right along behind that first pleat or gusset. Okay, and I'm going to do that for every single one. Wow, this paper is tearing easily. Back of that one. It's nice that it is tearable. Not terrible, but tear-able. Oh my goodness. You don't have to get scissors in there, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on the anchor point here. I just won't take the paper off, so I'm not flirting with danger like the other side. And then let's see. Yeah, see, this one's a little wider. I don't think it's going to show, so we'll go ahead and put the tape on it there. All right, let's see if we have 6. I have one here that doesn't need tape because it's the front cover. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I'm way down off the screen. And then the 2 anchor points here that are going to stick to the other side of the book. Now we have to do it on the other side. Going to skip the first one. Go to the second. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then my tape on the back. Come back into the center here. Actually, let me go ahead and get the scoreboard out of there because we're done with that. Now I want these to all go. Let me think. Do I want one in the front? I think I just need 5 to give me 6 slots. That makes sense. Okay, I can take one out of there. I was ambitious and made more than I needed. I'm going to take tape off, or the paper off the tape, and then we'll go ahead and stick this on, and it'll act like a little divider. Oops. Okay, hold on. I might need that 6th after all. Okay, I want it down at the bottom, and I was putting it too high up. Same thing here. Okay, do you see what this is going to do? It's going to make dividers between the gussets. Raw edges that were glued together at the bottom. This helps give us some structure. Now we're cooking. Got that one a little tight. See if we can do it before it's too stuck. I just pulled it over a little too far. You want to keep them even. Okay, one more. Can we do it? Last one. Hooray! All right, and then all we have to do for the last piece is go ahead and take the sticky off, or the paper off the sticky here. Can I do it? Yeah. And then I think I'm going to flip it around for this part. And I'm just going to line it up with the bottom and then the edge of that inside paper. Gonna get my hand in there. And then the same thing on this other side. Push it down in there. Actually, it's a little easier to see from the side. I just want to line that fold up with the edge of that inside paper. Give it a good press. Oh, you probably couldn't even see. So this edge with the inner paper. Now, that just gives us 6 compartments. A couple of these are a little more bent, which means I probably could go out a little more into the gusset than I thought I could. But I think it's okay because once it has all of these stuck in it, it straightens out. So I think that's going to work exactly as I wanted it to. Now let's talk about some fun decorating. Okay, so for the cover, so you see how my little plaid sticks out a little bit on either side? That's what I wanted. I love this, but there's like paint or something splattered along this top edge. So I think, let's see. I don't like those creases on there. Maybe we can just disguise it a little bit with this. And then I kind of wanted to put the doily on there. But now I don't know. You're probably yelling at me in the comments, telling me what to do. I wish I could hear you. I think it goes this way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that on with Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to smear a very light layer. Where's my little smudgy tool here? Nothing like a brand new bottle of Fabri-Tac. And if you haven't seen my short for the secret for how to not have it volcano, you might want to look up my shorts. The short videos on YouTube, that is. Okay, let's go ahead and lay that down. I don't know. I think that the stitching on these little circles and flowers is supposed to be raised. So that's why I'm putting that up. Yeah, I like that. And then maybe we can put like a couple of, or maybe one of, I'm kind of into the strawberries right now. This way, I kind of like this way. Let's go ahead and put a little pocket on here using this. Oh yeah, I like that. And then where's my fussy cuts? Yeah. I could stick this little tag in there. Let me think. How do I want to do this? Maybe I'll just trim the top off the tag because I love the lace on there. And then around the corners, let's see, let's do this one. Oh, I like that. Thinking I would put them in as like a label. So I'm going to put 2 months in each. So how do we want to do it? I'm just going to put them in every other one for now. And then we'll see. I love that I got them really big. But they're still kind of falling down in there. So maybe I will go ahead and glue them to the divider. See, ideally I could have made them big enough to be as wide as this, but I would have had to print one per page, I think, that way. And then the tags would have been really huge. They're big as they are. I'm gonna glue them on 2 sides and kind of leave a little opening there. And then maybe just for fun, I'm gonna tuck some of these tags in and use that as a little pocket for those. And then she could write on these maybe people's birthdays for the month, those 2 months or something. That might be fun. All right, let's do that. It's not gonna fall out if I don't glue the bottom, so we'll just do the 2 sides and I will hopefully get it in the right place the first time. So I'm gonna kind of stagger them. I want that tag to be up above. Sorry if you can hear the dog. Livestock guardian dog is right outside where my studio is now. And he's still getting used to this new surrounding, and he's just barking at everything right now, particularly the bunny rabbits running in the field, which is kind of funny because they're really no threat to him or the goats. But they're something he didn't see very often. We had jackrabbits where we were living before, but pretty rare sightings. Like, you'd see them a few times a year. Since all the fences went up, they weren't going from field to field as much there. Here, we're surrounded by big farms, so the fencing is has bigger holes, and the rabbits get through just fine. So he's finding that to be quite novel. And we're happy that he's barking, because he's letting all the coyotes and mountain lions and bobcats know that they're not welcome to eat our chickens or our goats. Means he's doing his job. But you may be hearing him more on camera than in past videos when he was much further away. Two more. All right, so there we go. We have tabs, our 6 tabs. So each one will be for 2 months. So I will go ahead and write the months on there. And then I'm going to start, I won't do all of these before I film the ending, but basically there will be 2 days on each card. So this one would be January 1, and this one would be January 2. And then if she wants to write a memory, she would just write the year. This one might be next year, 2026, and something that happened on that day. And same thing for all 365 days of the year. I will be writing out the dates, and then January and February will be in this first lot, and so on and so on. 2 months per slot, and it will sit on her shelf like this with her other cookbooks, or she can put it on her counter or on her desk like this, and it's just going to kind of be disguised as a little recipe folder. Now, there's no reason you couldn't store your recipes in something like this. That's just what her request was, to do that perpetual calendar, and I'm really happy to try to do something different with this fun cookbook ephemera. And her little office is now in the kitchen with her, so she can see her daughter from where she's doing her bills and things like that while her daughter's playing. And I think this is going to be a perfect little addition to that desk area and her cookbooks, and be semi-incognito memory keeping right there at the tip of her fingers. Well, it's been really fun showing you how I made this, and the collaboration has been really fun to watch. I have been taking little exhaustion breaks while moving and watching as much as I can, and I thank you all for joining me today. and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye!